Welcome to 38 keyboard shortcuts in BC. How many do you know? Hey, I'm Eric, and the other day I was actually looking at a list of keyboard shortcuts for BC, and I counted them, and I got to 38, which kind of surprised me because I've been a vocal member of the hey, there are no keyboard shortcuts in BC, it's a web browser and it all sucks, and it was way better when we had everything from F keys and could work without the mouse and all that good stuff. Because I'm a keyboard warrior, and the first version of the web client for BC or nav was not very good at the keyboard shortcut stuff. So I was surprised. 38, it seems way more than the 5 or 7 that I know and use. So how are we? Maybe we do not do all 38 in a single video, but let's do a fair amount of them and check them out. And if I'm missing something, and if you can count to more than 38 or you count to less than 38, comments below and let me know. I find this fascinating for some reason. Anyways, I don't know. So here is ABC. Actually, this is the BC 20 preview. And let's start with some, oldies but goodies. Alt Q. Tell me what you want. That's pretty good. We know that. We love that. Alt T. Go to my settings to switch company or region, languages, and all that good stuff. That's perfect. Let's open. We can go with extension management. That's a fun one. So here's extension management. So do you know that the Alt Shift W is the shortcut for pulling out something in its own window, or that Shift F10 actually open the context menu. So in this case, we're on this one. Let's go to the next one. Shift F10, we go to the context menu. Shift F10, pretty cool. And Shift Alt W to pull something out into a window. So I think that's pretty nice. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go to the customer list here. We can also kill the tour. We can also press Alt-O. That will add a note. Alt-O will add a note. This was actually pretty funky. So now we have the let's actually go into something here. So now we're on a customer card, and we can also do the Alt-O here. Let me just make sure that I do this right. So we can do Control F12 to switch between the wide and the narrow one. We can do. I have to look at the list because otherwise I get lost. We can also F12. This is Control F12, right? So Shift F12 will actually take us to the Role Explorer, and if we are on a now that we are looking at F12, so if we're on a sales order, for instance, and we're in the let me go down here. We're on the lines, so we can do Control Shift F12. Then we go into focus mode on the line. Control Shift F12 to get out of focus mode. So that's pretty cool. So that's actually 3 different functions alone on F12. So Shift F12 for Role Explorer, Control F12 for wide or slim, and Control Shift F12 to get in and out of focus mode. Another one that everybody knows, because this is older than Windows even. F8, copy the value from the line above. We can also let me make sure that I have. So when we're on something, just to complete the letters, we can do Alt N for new. And then there's a Alt Shift N, which is kind of weird, but there are some pages that still has an OK button, and then something about click OK and go to a new one. I'm not even sure that let me know if you get that, but there is such a thing. Another key that I find interesting that I think Microsoft had actually not implemented this very well, sorry to say, is that, you know, if you press Control F5, we reload like hitting refresh here, but we can also just hit F5. And as long as we're on, like you see here, we have the just above my big head, we have the statistics. I hit F5, we can see that the numbers are recalculated in the fact box. But if I hit F5 on something like this, and I think that's actually a key. Now I forgot which one it is. It's Alt F2 that will toggle, if you're instead of this one, that will toggle the fact box on and off. But if I hit F5 now, you know, no data is changing because nothing has changed, but the data is actually refreshing, but there's no UI indication that a refresh has taken place. So users end up not trusting that this is actually refreshing, and then they go up here or they do the Control F5. So I think there's a opportunity for improvement here to let the UI actually tell the user that, hey, we're refreshing. Now that we're talking about F2 and fact boxes, so let's turn that on. Actually, I found another thing playing around with this. So if we close this one and go back to sales orders, and I hit remember, we Alt over do a note and this works now in 20. It did not work in 19. That if the fact boxes were not shown when you opened the page, you couldn't do Alt O before you had either opened the fact box pane or open it and close it again. But that works now, so perfect. But when you're in the fact box, you can actually do Shift Alt F2 and it will jump between details and attachments. Although we never use attachments if we can avoid that. Very close to F2, we got F1, so Control F1 opens the help pane. What happens in 20 is that when you search for something, the documentation bit is kind of, you know, this is not just a stop saying, hey, try to search in help for customer, which just goes over here and search for customers over here. But you can, instead of that, if you want the context-aware help, or at least as context-aware as it can be, you can just Control F1, and now we got about sales orders right here. So that's pretty good. And of course, Control Alt F1 is the ever needed page, the page inspector. I wish they would actually, you know, instead of page inspection, just rename it to page inspector and put a little funny icon there. So that's F1 and F2. So F3 is like, no matter what you do, no matter what keyboard combination you end up typing together with F3, apart from just F3 goes to the search box, which is, well, that's pretty cool, that you can just go up and do multi-column search here. But hang on, let me go back to or we're already on customers. Can we get the list? Let's actually let's do the list like this. So Shift F3 will open all the filter pane, which is pretty cool. Control Shift F3 will open the filter pane, but go to the filter totals thing, which is that's perhaps if we are on somewhere here and then we do all F3, that's filtered to this value. So we talk about the F5 and discoverability being less than optimal. So if you're using the mouse, the problem with the column headers is that let's use responsibility center because that's a great example here. So there are two ways that if you click in the column header and you happen to hit the title, now you're controlling sorting. If you happen to miss, if you miss clicking on the title, right, then you get to the context menu. I'm not sure we can use Shift F10 for that. Of course we cannot. But if you miss, you get the sorting and the filter thing for this, which is kind of, yeah, you can hit this one and it will give you, but it's the problem here is that it's only shown in a mouse over situation or whatever has focused. So anyway, but you can get to all that with the keyboard. So the Shift Alt F3 filters to this value. So you can also do the whole hand. So Shift Control Alt F3 clear all filters. Shift Control Alt F3 clear all filters. So that's pretty good. We can also do if we actually let's go back to sales orders here for a moment. Maybe something else. Maybe I just wonder how I'm gonna do this. Alt F7. So the problem is that you cannot see. So now I have clicked on document date, and I can do Alt F7 to sort by that. But you cannot. Again, going back to discoverability and usability. That hey, so now let me click here. There's no visual clue that the cell to customer name is now the selected field, the selected column. But nonetheless, if I now click or type Alt F7, it sorts by the current column. But there's no visual indication that that's actually the case, which is, well, it could be better. So then we have F6. I think that's the only F key I haven't mentioned so far. So F6 moves you through the fast tabs. So Shift F6 moves you back. F6 forward, Shift F6 back. Alt F6 toggles. So F6, Alt F6 toggles that. Alt F6, there's apparently nothing here. F6 and prepayment, there we go. So I think that's all the F keys. So F1, help, F2, factbox, F3, filter, F5, refresh, F6, factbox navigation, F7, and it's only Alt F7 that is sort by current column, F8, copy from the column of the cell above, Shift F10, show the context menu, did we do the context menu? So if I go into extension management, now I totally So did I do shift of, if I select this one, shift of 10, I get the menu. I hope I did that. I'm totally confused right now. Another key that, well, it is a hotkey or shortcut keyboard shortcut, but maybe you don't think about that enter will actually jump to the next field, like tab, which means that there's actually a few more versions of enter. So you can do Control Shift Enter, which will go to something in some cases and others won't. Then we got Control Enter would go to the next outside something, and Shift Enter will go backwards. I think that's the one I primarily use. So Enter forward, Shift Enter backwards, just like with Tab. Now when we have here, then we are on the let me actually escape. So, well, escape closes stuff. I don't think that might even be number 39, because that's not really on Microsoft lists. But escape closes stuff. I guess I should have started with that one. But when we're on a field here, the arrows are actually usable. So we can do Alt and then arrow down will give us the lookup. Alt and arrow up will give us a tooltip. Maybe that doesn't work in the BC20. So it should get Alt arrow up should give us a, let's actually just try that one in a 19 for a second, see if that works. Let's see what we got here. Big enough for you guys to see this. Go on to a customer. So go on to a customer in 20. Huh. Some places it works, not all apparently. So Alt arrow up will give you the tooltip for a page. So there's one more. I think I'm at 37, well 38, counting the counting escape. But there's also Control Shift Alt C, which does nothing here. But if I go into company information, if I'm able to spell company information, and I set up a company badge, custom U for YouTube. I go out, refresh the browser, but it apparently did that for me without me having a say. We can do Control Shift Alt C, and it will tell us from the badge what company and environment we're in. So wherever we are, we just see the badge up here, but Control Alt Shift C will tell us everything. So I guess that's about it. So how many do you use? I don't use all of them. Some of them I don't use because I rarely, collapse open stuff, jump around that way. But I think I use a fair amount of them. And looking at the list, there's a couple of new ones that I'm pretty sure I want to use more. And I think I'll have to, issue a public apology for all my "hey, there are no keyboard shortcuts in BC" statement, because there are a lot. I think there's still some more things that can be done, but actually at this point I think there's some other usability things that probably needs more attention than keys per se. I just showed a couple of them in this video. Anyway, let me know in comments below if there are shortcuts that you know that I missed, or that there are shortcuts that you would like to have. That would be cool to hear. I know this is the problem with working inside a browser, is that the browser also has keys. So Control N is taken, so we have to do Alt N and stuff like that. So it's way more complicated than it used to be when you had a client that had exclusive access to the entire keyboard. But that's not the case anymore. Anyway, when you're done trying out keyboard shortcuts, I suggest you check out this video because that's a good one, and I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.